We're so to be able to share Angie's story. So, Angie, you are someone who has done our Fit to Lead experience and you have crushed it over the last 16 weeks. We're so incredibly proud of you. It's really a wonderful gift. One of the things we're talking about with our team today is just how amazing the internet is because we get to connect with people who would be strangers and turn them into friends, right? And you've done that exact thing. I remember seeing you engaged in this community, commenting on everything. And then we put out the scholarship, you applied, and now we've been working with you for 16 weeks and you've just done so amazing. So we're so happy to share your story and just celebrate you today. How has this experience been before we dive in? What are some
Yeah,
wins
just
that you would celebrate? What's it been like?
oh my gosh, it's been an amazing experience. It's truly made me believe in myself in ways that I didn't before. And I love the community. I feel like I'm a part of something that is never going to go away. I feel fully supported with my new friends that I've been making.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. That's fun. Very good.
Yeah.
A good byproduct of prioritizing your health and feeling good about yourself is getting some good people around you, right? So that's awesome.
Yes.
Good, good. So I'm curious, when you were first, because you originally talked to, I think, me, and then you talked to Brian, but when you were first getting started or wanting to get started, what was your past experience like when it came to health? Like, kind of where were you at before you actually started working with us? What were some of the challenges or maybe some of the past experiences that you had gone through?
So I had tried a number of different things to lose weight for what I thought were the right reasons. I had tried cutting out food. I had tried different apps, trying to track my calories. I had tried different programs. Even I did some challenges. But I had recently been diagnosed with perimenopause, and I saw a lot of weight and a lot of different hormonal fluctuations. And I was just in crisis mode before I met you guys.
What does crisis mode mean? Like you were just searching for what you had to do and just confused?
Yeah, yeah, I was feeling lost, and I just needed something different.
Hmm.
What do you think the challenges were that were making it hard for you to see results or make the positive changes that you had worked on? Because I know this is something you were working on for a while and it's something that you did start and stop. What were some of the challenges or things that made it hard for you to see the results that you wanted?
A lot of it was once I started a program, just feeling supported after the program, quote, stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt almost like I wasn't believing in myself because I didn't feel that someone believed in me. And that was really hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Before we go to all the way through the details, what are the biggest wins that you've had in the last 4 months?
Now, what are we
Like,
celebrating?
what have you actually accomplished that you can be like damn proud of yourself for and claim?
So I had finally gotten over my plateau that I was in for 2 years.
Oh wow.
I crushed it. Yeah.
Ah, tell us more. What was that like? Or what was that
Uh,
plot? What'd you get to?
in just the 4 months working with you guys, I had lost actually 11 pounds, and I was just stuck. And before I felt like I couldn't do it. So that was a really big challenge for me.
Mm.
And that is one of the biggest things for me. But also seeing it in other ways is a huge piece of my success. I'm seeing it in the way that my clothes fit. I'm seeing it in even little things like the way that I smile. I'm noticing my face is different when I'm smiling. So things like that have really helped.
Hmm. And what's amazing about your the way that your body is changing is 11 pounds sounds like it's a good amount of weight, but your body has changed dramatically because you've lost, we talked about it before, but you've lost three like top sizes and two pant sizes, we said.
Two pant sizes, yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
so incredibly significant. How did you actually give yourself, I guess, the grace to let your body do what it needed to do and not get so stuck on maybe the scale or this form of measurement or that? How did you keep yourself focused?
For that, I turn to you guys and the community a lot. I just learned exactly what giving myself grace means. And I also learned that it was my mindset that was holding me back. So I actually got a lot of inner strength that I didn't know I needed.
That's good.
So we're kind of staying on wins. When you think of inner strength or mindset shifts or emotional health, right? I know that one of the conversations we had was about learning how to own your state or own your emotions, because the emotions are the things that get in the way. What were some of the mindset shifts or non-scale victories that you would celebrate, right? We had this, you have like your progress photos are fantastic. Like your body's changed so much. Like you have these amazing physical results, which are important. What do you think the mental results or the mindset shifts you're going to carry forward are? What were those for you in a non-tangible way?
Through this experience, I actually learned that taking care of my body and using different methods, whether it be yoga or meditation, can actually help me get motivated to then do other things. I learned about strength training for the first time, and I'm doing all of these things because I love myself. So I actually learned to look at it in a whole new way.
Which was compared to what in the past? What reasons were you doing it before?
Before, I was doing it because I either thought I had to have a certain look, or I did it because I said I hated my body, and I almost used it as a punishment rather than using it for something really good for myself.
That's key. I think that a lot of people hear that and resonate, because anything that we do out of hate or anger and frustration needs hate and anger and frustration to keep going. And I think a lot of times when we're motivated by like, oh, just so frustrated by it, we do enough to get away from the frustration, but we end up losing motivation, right? We lose momentum, and then we kind of wait until we hit that low point of frustration again. That triggers us to go back up. And that's kind of the cycle that so many people get stuck in. But love, right? Love is always there if you focus on it, right? And that's going to be something that you can carry forward.
Yeah. There was something you said that I want to pull apart, because I think it's something that so many people struggle with when it comes to making a decision to take care of themselves or to prioritize their health, or a decision to actually chase their goals rather than just see them as aspirations, things that would be nice if they could happen. Two different things. You said you learned how to believe in yourself, right? Which is really the antidote for fearing failure. Everything about it. Tell us about that, because so many people get stuck in that fear of failure and just can't move past it. So what would be the stepping stones? What's in between there? What would you advise people if they're kind of stuck in that, oh, I'm going to fail again kind of mode?
For me, it was learning exactly what I needed and how to advocate for that. I often didn't know the right questions. So when I was being asked about if there was anything else I needed or is there any support I'm looking for, I honestly didn't know, because I was just stuck in that frustration mode of just give me anything, fix this quick. And I didn't exactly know how to break that apart for myself.
I see. So instead of staying stuck in that frustration and feeling like you're falling into failure, which is usually the pivot point where people fall off, right? You learned how to see that frustration and then behave differently, ask different questions, keep asking until you found a solution. And it even sounds like you started to shift into more of a long-term mindset of there is always a way, there's always something to change, but it might not be quick. It might need to take a little bit more patience or curiosity. And that curiosity sounds like it kind of led you past the typical sticking points. But does that resonate? Am I kind of understanding that?
Oh yes, that is exactly it. Because I learned that once I started to look at things differently, there were actually more possibilities there that I was perfectly capable of doing. And that's what helped me going.
Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful mindset.
Yes, that's good.
Angie, I'm curious. So we talk a lot about your wins. What made you decide to actually join our team? What motivated you to join the fitness project? What was it that you thought was maybe different about this experience, or something that you were looking for that was really what pushed you over and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, talking to Lindsey first and then having that final call with you, Brian, I just felt like you guys knew me. It was very strange, but so wonderful a feeling. It was like they understand what I'm looking for, even if I don't. And I felt like I was actually being listened to. And that is a huge piece of that for me. It wasn't something where I felt like someone is just going to push me to do all of these things. It was somebody that's going to be there in my corner as I do all of these things as I want to do them. And it felt very different when I had that phone call. And I remember getting off of the phone call and saying, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna think about my budget. I'm gonna think about what to do, and I'm gonna do it. Yes, absolutely. And that was the first time I ever felt something like that.
Yeah. Well, we know,
That's cool.
I know it was an investment for you, right? It was an investment. It was something that you took very seriously. And when you got off, you sent me how you're going to make the investment work. I was like, we got to work with Angie. Like, we got to find a way to support her because you were so committed. I think that's the most important thing.
Very true.
So many people, they use finances as an excuse to say why they can't do something. And it doesn't mean that they're not making light of that at all, but a lot of times it's a mask for not being committed. It's like a mask for like, but you were like, hey, I'm gonna find a way. I'll figure it out, I'll work hard, I'll find a way. And I was so impressed because that showed a lot of courage and faith in yourself. I mean, obviously Lindsey and I are here and we take a high level of responsibility to make sure everyone that's with us gets what they want and is supported, but you're on the other side. You're 100% of the equation. So for you, it was just this constant, hey, I got to find this out, figure this out. I'm curious if someone was in that mindset where they're maybe where you were at the beginning of your journey, or maybe they're you where maybe a year ago and they're like, trying things, I'm frustrated, I'm not really seeing the results that I want. And they're thinking of maybe reaching out to us and they're here in this community. What advice would you give them? What would you encourage them with? And how might you say like, hey, here's how I would think about joining the team or something like that?
Honestly, I would say, first of all, book the call. It is always worth booking that call and getting the information. But when taking that call, be open to it. Because honestly, for the first time, I just felt more open to things. And joining you guys was the best thing for me. So I would say you are worth it. And I would say now is the time, because I was one of those people that really did put it off and look for reasons. And as soon as I stopped doing that, that's when it happened for me.
Ooh, I just got full body chills, so it must be true. But yeah, what I would highlight too for anybody who's listening to this is when you think about Angie's story and everything that you just shared, or that she just shared, she started with realizing that her body was going through a major change in perimenopause, going into menopause, didn't know how to handle it, kind of felt like her body and her were not on the same team or same page. That caused her to kind of pause and say, hey, we got to figure this out. So whenever you're presented with a new change or a challenge, that's an opportunity to ask what's next, to possibly change or see that there's maybe a lot of growth ahead. If we face this the right way and with grace and with love and maybe just some determination. But then the things that I'd highlight are what actually got you past fearing failure or more of the same was actually believing in yourself, being resourceful, and being open. And then once you did those three things, then you kind of found your way into the transformation of, instead of doing this out of, I need to wait till I hate my body, it's, I need to actually love myself enough to do this. I need to see that I'm actually a worthy investment and that I'm going to be taken care of. That was just that final piece to close the loop, is like, these people really care about me. It's not like Brian and Lindsey have some magic formula that's going to fix everything. It's like, I want to close. I want to highlight all the things that, yes, giving Angie credit, but also for somebody listening, it's like, there's so many things that you can do for yourself. Like, nobody's going to fix you. You're not broken either. But if you can be resourceful, if you can be open, if you can be curious, if you can really actually believe in yourself, that there is a way, well, then we're here and happy to take care of you, just like we did for you, Angie. But there's a lot of power in taking your own power back and saying, I actually do have a little bit more I can give here or do here. At least that's what I would highlight from your story. And I think that's what's really made you so successful. So go you.
This experience has been absolutely wonderful. And what I love even more is it's not over. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
And that's something that really changed things for me, is knowing that you guys always have a community for me, and I can still keep liking and commenting and sharing, and I have that forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and now you get to be a leader too.
Well, I was going to ask, what is next? What are you excited about to accomplish? What are some things you have on the docket for 2025, right? Do you have any goals set or anything that excites you? I'd be curious to hear what's next after you've gone through this experience and you have this new foundation. What do you feel called for, if anything? I'm just curious.
Well, I just had my physical, and my doctor looked at the scale and then looked at me, and she actually gave me a high five.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And so, as silly as it is, I want another one next time I go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, and
what a good feeling.
Well, and
goodness.
you shared to me on our call that was something that you were even like, there was a challenge for you, right? Because you saw this big weight loss goal. You're like, I know I need to work on this, but you almost lacked a belief that it was even possible, right? Because it felt daunting. So what was great is you gave yourself credit for 10 pounds. You gave yourself a credit for 5 pounds for everything you've done. And that actually allows you to do more of what you need to, right? Whereas a lot of people, they say, oh, if it's not 30 pounds in 3 months, it's not enough. It doesn't mean you can't accomplish that, but it's understanding that for you, this is what your body needed. These are the habits that you needed, right? Because you're starting from a place where it's like, I don't have any of these workout habits. So you started to really ramp them up, and now you can continue to build. So it's like, yeah, celebrating where you're at and seeing all the physical changes. It's like, hell yeah. It's super exciting, and we're so proud of you. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift to be on the other side.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll reflect. My last piece is that I actually see a change in you. And change is not a word that I use lightly, because it's only when you're on the other side of a change that it's obvious you're not going back. There's nothing to go back to or fall back on, or like people will say, I fell back into old habits, or I fell back, I fell off. It's like, you're actually changed from my perspective. It seems that you actually are. So
thank you. I feel like I have. I feel like this is just was always inside of me, and now it's here, and it's not afraid to be outside.
Yeah. That
keep
Rocky zone, right? We
got yes.
That's awesome.
Well, for those of you who are listening, Angie has done an amazing job in her experience here in her fitness journey. She's one of our partial scholarship recipients at the beginning of August, and she's just crushed it. She's done such an amazing job. We're celebrating her today. Just using this as an example, too, of what's possible for you when you continue to show up for yourself and make yourself a priority. So as you're looking at your new year, however it shows up, keep focusing on what's best for you. Keep focusing on what you can do. Stay tuned. We have some exciting news coming here this Sunday. So stay tuned for maybe an opportunity for you to get fit and get healthy and really work on yourself too. But Angie, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, sharing your experience. We know it will impact some people very positively, and we're so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff. And we'll look forward to meeting you soon, since you don't live too far from us.
Yes.
So soon. Awesome stuff. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day that's listening and tuning in. Give Angie some love and gratitude for sharing her story, because it's a big deal. And with that, have a great rest of your weekend, Angie, and everybody else that's tuning in. You guys have a great weekend as well. Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers, y'all.